Right, I'm here today with Chris Paronto. How's things with you, mate? All right?
Oh yeah, you're good. You can call me Tanto too. I've been called that for
Yeah, Toronto.
forever.
Yeah.
I was called that long before that incident, or long before Benghazi happened in 13 hours. I think I was known as Tanto since 2005 when somebody gave me that call sign in Afghanistan. One of my teammates did. A SEAL buddy of mine. When SEALs always got to have flair, man. Everybody's got to have call signs. So yeah, so I was like, yeah, we'll call you Tonto. I'm like, well, whatever.
So that was
Sounds
born then, yeah. The seal give it to you.
well, the SEAL, if people don't know the American Special Operations community, and I'm sure most do. I mean, you guys got a tremendous special operations team, and the SAS guys do. Those we work with those guys quite a bit. And actually, one of their guys when I was doing the GRS, the Global Response Staff stuff, and I know we're getting into it a little bit real quick, but
Oh, good man.
the guys that would train us, we had MI6 guys coming over and putting us through along with CIA personnel when we first had to do it. We call vetting or tryouts. And I was always shocked because every one of them was named Mick. I was like, well, how can every one of you guys be named Mick? This is bullshit. No, you guys aren't all Mick. But I met and I actually went through training because they would come through our training too. So they bring their MI6 and MI5 guys over to go through our tactical training. We do it together and do our vetting together when I was with the agency. And I went through with the training with he was a former Royal Marine. His name was Mo. Love that guy. Dude, he was, and you guys swear so proper. I mean, we were doing this crash 'em up training. We're going through trade. We're actually doing this big scenario where you have to drive, evade, crash into cars, get out, go get the guy you're supposed to save, get out of there. And I remember I'm sitting on this side. I'm on the passenger side, so I'm the left front seat here. He's driving and we're trying to back out. So we just rammed a car. Now we're trying to back out to get out of there to get away because we've got our guy. And he looks like this, and he goes, hey mate, hey Mo, hey mate, can you just leave over a little bit, fucking bit? Can you find it? He said I didn't even catch it. It's like it was the most proper. It's like he said sir to me, and he said fuck.
Yeah.
I think you guys swear so proper. It's like I want to say thank you after you cussed me out. Like thank you, man. That's so nice of you to say.
So
But
part
he
of your
was
lifestyle. Yeah.
it is. I love it. It was tremendous. And, and over the years, of course, work with plenty of guys from the UK and plenty of guys from Europe that we're allies, obviously. And I love those guys. But that was my one story with the CI working with the MI5, MI6 guys and then going through our training together. And it was fantastic. And he was a tremendous individual too. Big guy named Mo. And love those guys. And then Mick, the other SAS guy that put me through the training, just tremendous individual. So outstanding. So that's my story as we get into it. But now you can do the introduction.
No, man.
Whatever you want, man.
So it's gone straight into my first question. Anyway, I was, get a bit of a feel as to where the old Tonto name came from. So if you to edge straight into that, it worked nicely. I got to be honest.
Oh, perfect.
I think let's start off with give people a bit of a feel as to who exactly you are. Where people may have seen or heard of you from.
Sure.
Just give a bit of an insight into yourself, your backstory.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Colorado. I got you, Brent. Yes. So getting into my story, for people that just coming up the upbringing, I was born and raised in Colorado here, of course, in these states. Joined the Army. I was with the 75th Ranger Regiment, 2nd Ranger Battalion. From 95 until 98, actually 95 to 97. I got kicked out of the Army the first time I was in. I wrote that in the book called The Ranger Way as the second book I wrote after the team, and I wrote 13 hours. And I talk about that. But, I got out, didn't want to, got out, and I got to grad school and then got my master's degree. And I'm like, geez, I don't want to be a civilian. This sucks. And I re-enlisted and went back in the military because I was luckily got an honorable discharge when I got kicked out. Don't ask me how, just thank the Ranger Regiment for that. That was outstanding. But I re-enlisted, went back in the military, and went back to Ranger Battalion. Went to Ranger School, all that fun, happy stuff you do being a Ranger. And then in 2003, I was medically discharged because of I have Crohn's disease, and I was able to hide it for many, many years. And then one time I just wasn't able to hide it just due to I had a severe episode with it when I was out in the field. And when you shit blood down your leg, you can't hide that very, very well. Very well. So I was medically discharged, but it was terrible. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, well, what do I do now? Because that was my life. I was going to stay at Ranger Battalion, possibly go there and stay there until I finished my career, or go to the unit, go to Delta, and then try out, hopefully make. And when that happened, but in 2002, 2003, 2001, 9/11, we were attacked, and that's when the global war on terror started. Well, the military was strapped thin, so we had three big companies: DynCorp, Triple Canopy, which was run by Lee Van Arsdale at the time, former unit guy, and then Eric Prince started Blackwater. They started reaching out to guys that weren't in the service anymore. And the majority of the guys that weren't in the service that hadn't been deployed were guys like myself that were injured, medically discharged, that still, we felt like I could still do the job, but the military saying, no, you can't because of regulation, this, and this. So I got a call from Blackwater, I would say 6 months after I was medically discharged. And the question was, can you deploy? They found out my background from another guy that was part of Blackwater that had worked with me. And I said, yeah, I can deploy. I can still go. I was lying. I mean, I was still sick as a dog, but, and I went over with Blackwater in 2003, and then kind of the rest is history. I was a private military contractor. I worked in Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, Yemen, South Africa, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Peru. I know I'm leaving something out. Pakistan, a lot of wonderful places. Even got to do anti-piracy work off the coast of Somalia. I get in Egypt, get in the Red Sea, and float down the Gulf of Aden, or go down in front of Somalia to South Africa. And it worked out well, man, because I got to do things I don't think I would have been able to do in the military, and I got to do it not really with a lot of oversight. It really was Wild West. You're civilian. You're going in these places. You're flying in regular air. You're getting in. You're sneaking around. You're living in the cities. You're living and immersed in the culture. It really was. And it's always cooler on the movies. Yeah, I say it's James Bond type stuff. It's not. There's no. All you people out there, there's no such thing as James Bond. There's none of that shit going on out there. But to me, it was the closest it could be, because we didn't have any oversight. You really were on your own when you got in the city. I mean, and then, of course, on 9/11, 2012, I was with the CIA security team. We were called Global Response Staff, GRS. And we responded to that attack in Benghazi, Libya, that killed our Ambassador Kris Stevens, Sean Smith, and my two teammates, former Navy SEALs, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. And then the fiasco of the politics, where people, I think at that point, knew politicians were scumbags, pretty much. And that just kind of, and also showed that our U.S. media, for you guys, I know you have your own media you deal with. We do too. Our media is not always truthful. And people saw that the spin will go on to help with politicians win re-election, or to help certain sides within the media. But as far as 9/11, 2012 goes, that night to me represents, that night I lost two of my teammates, and they were tremendous. But we did manage to save 30 people and found a way to get out of Benghazi. And then the movie and book 13 Hours was written about that incident, which my teammates and I wrote, and with the help of a real author, Mitchell Zuckoff, because you get SEALs and Rangers and Marines writing books, brother. It looks like a coloring book, man. Pop-up book. Hey, look at that RPG.
Needed that bit of oversight.
But then the book did very well, and I really believe that the literary agent called 3 Arts Entertainment, we didn't know it at the time, but they're a big agent as far as and a big production. I say production company like Paramount, but they represent a lot of not just books but movies. They Erwin Stoff, who runs 3 Arts, he first started as Keanu Reeves' manager, so this guy is in the movie business. Well, we kind of fell into the movie. When 3 Arts took on to do the book and be our literary agent for the book, they had plans for a movie that we didn't know, which is fine. Honestly, that was a tremendous experience, and the movie was made. And I was a little skeptical at first when they picked Michael Bay to be the director, even though I love Michael Bay movies, The Rock, Armageddon, all the Transformer movies. But it's like, dude, CGI? What are we gonna have? Optimus Prime jumping out of the sky and saving the day with Bumblebee? I mean, what the hell's going? But when I met the guy, he's a patriot, man. He loves this country. He's and he just is a workaholic. And if you watch the movie, I'll be, and I'm not just because it's my story and the team story. To me, I think it's the most accurate war movie as far as what takes place within the guys and the team on the ground. Because and there's great war movies out there. Black Hawk Down's fantastic. I know a lot of those guys. Dale Sizemore, the guy that was going to cut off his he got hurt in a ping pong accident. He was going to cut off his he's a friend of mine. He lives down the road. David Floyd, country, good friend. Colonel Colonel Sizemore. Sizemore plays him. Colonel Danny McKnight. He's a friend of mine. But they don't get the humor and the little jackassery sayings that go on during a firefight. They always happen. And Michael caught that. And, a lot of those jackassery sayings were my sayings. So I know they were right. But that's what happened. Yeah, it's like, that's what happens. And then also just the colors. A lot of war movies, you get it. They're dirty. They're dreary. You're in Iraq or Afghanistan, you're in Libya, and it's just, they're just so drab and it's not. The colors are just because you're I'm sure you interview UFC fighters. It's they talk about adrenaline. Well, it's the same thing. That adrenaline is through the roof, so it makes your senses. If you're able to control that adrenaline, control that fight or flight response, and utilize it, which I was very lucky at that point I was able to do because I'd been doing the job for so long that I didn't let the adrenaline overcome my emotions and go into the black and just shut down. I was able to maintain my awareness and even make sure my situation awareness was even higher. And the rest of the guys were too. The colors are just vivid. I mean, it's unbelievable. The fire that you see, the explosions. I mean, it's just flashes of light because you have night vision on, but still it's just so vivid. And you can just get overcome with it. But if you're able to accept that you're in that situation, you're able to accept that you're in battle or whatever you're doing, you can just, it's completely enjoyable. It really is. It's just so beautiful because you don't get to see that anywhere else. I mean, who goes down the street saying, I think I'm going to have somebody shoot mortars and RPGs at me and shoot a PKM have bullets snap by my head. And it doesn't happen. So when it does, and if you're able to really and it really is, it's just as simple as taking a breath. And that's what I did. It's like, just, okay, wow, this is fucking cool. Excuse my language. You're able to really enjoy it. But again, that goes back to where it happened. It happened at a time where I had been doing the job for deploying at that point for almost 11 years. I've been through situations, and there's not many situations like Benghazi ever, where military, except maybe in World War I, World War II, where they didn't have the assets to come help. You don't find many U.S. incidences where there isn't a team that actually comes and assists or a supporting element or a QRF. But there are lots of firefights. These guys have been through some immense firefights, even more intense than ours. But I've been through enough at that point that I could just take a step back and be like, wow, this is cool. Okay, control your emotions, control it, set it, relax as best you can, but keep the adrenaline going. Use it for your advantage. The martial arts. I Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido. I started learning Aikido, doing the mixed martial arts. You've got Sergeant Larson from Ranger Battalion who rewrote the Combatives Handbook. The Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the Gracies would actually teach the Ranger Battalion at that time when I was in. That was when the ground fighting was the hugest thing in the world. So we would send guys to their dojo and they would come up and they'd actually train the battalion. And then we got into the, the stand-up stuff. You get in all that, but it's almost like it is. I believe in that chi and that ki that people talk about. If you're Chinese or Japanese, whatever arts you have, it's just that adrenaline that bottles up right there in your midsection. And I would just think and just go, okay, push that shit out, push it where I need it, push it to my hands, push that adrenaline out to my feet, my arms, push it out to my eyes. Instead of just letting it go, oh shit, we're gonna die, and let the adrenaline just take you over where where you get tunnel vision and things just go like this. If you're able to do that, just push it out. It's that adrenaline, that key, push it out. Your world just goes. Whew. It's like a horse having blinders on. He just opens up, and that's also why I think a lot of guys have issues coming back home, because you don't get that feeling, you don't get that sensation anywhere except in combat. And it's hard to put those blinders back on when you come back into the real world, in the civilian world, even though we've got all this silly whatever virus going on right now that everybody's shitting their pants about, but it's not the same. It's not the same. But I don't know if that makes sense, but that's why it was the movie when Michael Bay did 13 Hours. That we wanted those colors, we wanted the vividness, because that's what it really is like. And you wanted the smart ass jokes that go on during firefights, because that's what happens. Because laughter definitely is the best medicine. That's what gets you through it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, funny enough, it was one of the questions I was going to ask, was obviously with the Michael Bay movie, how historically accurate was it? Because I mean, as you say, a lot of the sort of the war movies you get, they do sort of elaborate on things, or they keep out key elements just to make it Hollywood friendly. I mean, you answered a fair bit of it, so it was a fairly accurate.
It was, and he wanted to make sure it was. We were on set. You know, there are the not say outtakes, but if you go to YouTube or if you buy the Blu-ray video, they did so many of on the set filming of us on set. There's one called The Men Who Lived It, where it shows us on set and they're interviewing us. It shows me with Pablo Schreiber. You know, it says the Tanto, where they do a little short of the real Tanto and then the guy that plays Tanto. And actually, Pablo did a tremendous job, man. I was thoroughly impressed, and he got it spot on. And the dancing, even the flash, I do that shit. That's what I did. I mean, it was I parodied. At that point in time, there were so many cool, tough guys coming over. Every guy's got ops blacker than yours. You got the blackest ops I got. It's a joke. Everybody's such a badass that at that time, I'd been doing it for so long, I would just parody our own alpha maleness, dude. I would make fun of it. I'd wear these little shorty shorts. I would go out and I'd dance to LAMFO or whatever techno music I could, and that's right. And Pablo got to know me very well. I remember we connected on Twitter when he got when I used to have a Twitter account. I don't anymore. Twitter's the devil. You don't want Twitter. Twitter's awful. But when Pablo first got picked, I hit him up on Twitter and he hit me right back, and we actually developed a very good friendship. And it's still, to this day, we still are friends. But he really took his craft seriously. I have a lot of respect now, more respect for actors than I did before that, because the ones that really don't buy into their own bullshit, like Pablo doesn't, he believes in his craft and he wants to get stuff right. And he learned my mannerisms. He learned this little sayings. He actually even started dipping Copenhagen during the movie, because I dip Copenhagen. I don't anymore because my gums are rotting away. But that's Oscar worthy right there. He's risking lip cancer for a role. I think that's Oscar worthy, definitely. But it was because Michael wanted to get it right. We were on set. We helped write the script with Chuck Hogan. We actually read through the script, little things at Bay Studios to make sure that it wasn't. Yeah, so Hollywood didn't take liberties with the story, because we knew the story was already going to get hammered by people that supported Hillary Clinton and Obama, because not that the movie really, if people haven't watched it, we say nothing about Obama or Hillary Clinton in the movie. We didn't put any of that in there because it wasn't necessary. But we knew that it was going to, people on that side of the aisle weren't going to go watch it, or they were going to crucify it without even really spending 5 minutes watching it. So we wanted to make sure it was accurate as possible with what happened on the ground and what we knew that happened back in the States when we were on the radios calling for our support or calling for any support at all that we were during that night that never came from their U.S. government. So Michael wanted to make sure it was completely accurate, and he worked his ass off to do so. And there wasn't a lot of CGI. He didn't want to put a lot of CGI in there. The only CGI that I know that's in there is the mortar, seeing the mortar come up and come down and then hit. Because it's hard to replicate a mortar hitting and not killing everybody on the roof like it did in real life. Yeah. But the fires, all that was real, and the way he did it. And he always uses, because my buddies, a lot of my SEAL buddies that worked with me on those agency contracts were extras in his Transformers movie. So all his extras are generally military guys, and they're generally special ops guys, Rangers or SEALs. So Michael loves the military, had a lot of respect for the story. He doesn't give two shits about politics. He doesn't care. He doesn't. I don't even know if he's right or left, and he doesn't give a shit what right or left is. And he just wanted to make a great movie, and he wanted it to be something that wasn't a Transformers, like his epic. And I think he did I said, bro, I love Black Hawk Down. I do love Lone Survivor. I think Marcus is a tremendous individual as well. Zero Dark 30, it's all right. But out of it, I do think that 13 Hours got it the most accurate as you could get within a movie. Is it as accurate as the book? No, because you have to condense characters in a movie. Like our chief of base, our chief of base in the movie is our chief of base in the book, but it's also we had a team leader there that wasn't worth a shit that we talk about in the book. But you just it's hard in that movie, and that, you know, and it's the movie's still 2 hours and something long, and you still have a hard time getting all the backstories of every character. So you do have, and every movie does that. And Michael explained that to us, and it made sense. He explained when you see a huge explosion and a fireball go up. Well, I'll be honest, in real life, especially at night, you don't see that. You see a flash of light, or even when you shoot, you're seeing the heat of the round. And if you hit, you're not going to usually see a splash. But if you miss, and I miss sometimes at night, I'm not gonna lie. The bullet will usually fragment. And you'll see a flash. But if people in the audience saw what we were really seeing through our night vision that night, you would walk out of the movie either with Tourette syndrome because all you were seeing was flashes of light everywhere, or you'd walk out going, "What the hell was that?" And like, Michael, you can't, the explosions, they're vivid like that, but they look white. They're, you don't really, we usually hear snaps because they're breaking the sand barrier when they're going by your head. All those debris that's popping off the walls, it does do that, but then sometimes it wasn't insane. So he goes, Tanto, dude, if I made it how exactly it was, people would have no fucking clue what was going on. When they walked out of the theater, they'd be like, what the heck? Because you can't simulate that snap when a bullet breaks a sand barrier and goes by your head. You can't really simulate. And what it sounds like to me, if you're close enough, when an AK-47 round or something 7.62 hits behind you and hits something solid, it sounds like when somebody hits like a 2x4, like they slap the wall with the 2x4. You think about that in a movie. All you're hearing is he slaps on the wall the whole time. You would never know what the hell's going on. So you do have to. Yeah, you do have to. But that was what was cool about it, is he took the time to explain this is why. And in his Michael Bay way, which he talks 800 miles an hour, dude. I think he's on 8 million cups of coffee every day. But he took the time to explain it to us, and where we could get it, where it could, there are chunks of wall when an RPG hits that will go up and come down. So he did get some of that. He did get as accurate as possible with the effects that he could do without physically using real bullets and real rocktail grenades and real 81 millimeter mortars. But the personalities spot on, just perfect, and the storyline is spot on. And a testament to Michael Bay, and a testament to Paramount Pictures, and a testament, good kudos to 3 Arts Entertainment and Pablo and the actors, Max Martini, Dominic Famusa, John Krasinski, and Dave Denman, for just doing an awesome job representing the team very, very accurately. Very, very accurately. It's just the only thing that's different is Pablo is a monster, dude. The dude is like 6'3", 245 pounds, just sheer. I am 5'9", 170 pounds, but I am a lot better looking. So it's a great trade-off. He's a lot bigger than me. I am a lot better looking. It works. But yeah. And John Krasinski, I have a lot of respect because he did a fantastic job representing Jack Silva, who was a SEAL Team 5 guy. And John is the main character in the movie. Pablo should have been. I think Pablo stole the show, but of course, I always steal the show. The personality of Tanto always comes out. But John did a fantastic job representing Jack Silva, SEAL Team 5, because that's what Jack is. And honestly, John Krasinski and Jack Silva, nobody's still seen what Jack looks like. Jack will not come out. He's always going to be in the hiding. His wife wears the pants in the family. I love his wife. She's awesome. But she said, you are never going to show your face. And if he wants to stay married, he's not going to. But just so everybody knows out there, people have asked before, we've never seen Jack. We've seen everybody else except for Jack. Is he real? Yeah, Jack is real. His wife doesn't want his face anywhere, and he listens to his wife. But just so you guys know, Jack actually looks pretty damn similar to John Krasinski. That boy next door, look and the mannerisms, it's uncanny. So when you see John Krasinski, you really are almost seeing a photocopy of what Jack Silva looks like. And no, they did a fantastic job, bro. 13 Hours is that Michael Bay did a very, very, very good job making that movie. And I'm proud to say that he included us in damn near the whole thing, even pitching the movie to the companies. We were the ones pitching it to the movie companies to take it on. And God bless Paramount for pulling it and taking taking a big risk on it, because again, at that time in that climate, that was during the Obama Hillary Clinton years. That was hugely political. It's just as political it is now in the United States. So, it could have went south for them real quick as far as the Hollywood elite staying with Paramount or not, because you're gonna back a movie that might hurt former President Obama's chance to win re-election, and it will hurt Hillary Clinton's chance to run for election in 4 years. But kudos to them for taking it on, and they did a fantastic job. And Michael Bay did it. I've said it a million times. Michael Bay did a great job, and Pablo and the actors did fantastic jobs too.
That's great. Thank you. I mean, that's always the key thing for me when you're watching these movies based on the historical events. Then you've always got that question in the back of your mind: how accurate is this? So to know that they want as near as you're going to get them, it's a great thing to know. Obviously, you've touched on the part of you've dabbled in a bit of writing.
Patriots
Creed,
the
Ranger Way.
Yeah, I got those two, the two, and then 13 Hours. We just couldn't put our names on 13 Hours at the time. We had to put Annex Security Team because the CI hadn't cleared us to be part of the book at the time we were writing it. And but yeah, that's our names would be on there as well. But that was that's splitting hairs, and writing books is honestly it gets harder. It's like doing a term paper, man. 13 Hours is great.
Future.
You know what I'd like to do? I really, because of my travels, and I'm glad I get to be home right now. I've been home for a while because of this. I don't know how serious it is in the UK. I don't watch the news. I don't, even though I used to be on it all the time. I'm not on it anymore. I'll do podcasts. I think this is the future right here. Podcasts. This is how people are going to get information that's not slanted. You're not getting information based off an agenda. You're actually getting real information. So I don't know how much that the virus is hurting the UK here. I don't know anybody. We get these numbers that are massive here, and I don't know one person personally that has it. I've never seen anybody that's anyway. But that being said, I've been able to be at home because the whole United States canceled everything. So this is the longest I've been to be at home in years, which has been fantastic. I missed it. But that being said, the travels that I did, getting back to if I'm going to do another book, the travels that I've done, I would love to do a book of all the places I've seen. I'm a runner. I still love running. Running is spiritual to me. I mean, I'll get out and go run 6-7 miles today, but everywhere I go, that's the best place to get to know that's the best way to get to know a city or an area is just to go jogging. And I'll take my phone and I'll take pictures of places that I've been, whether it's Helena, Montana, or down down on the Chelsea Pier in New York City. And it's just beautiful. I would love to do a book that just it's like a coffee book. I don't have to do a lot of, which it's kind of a lazy thing too, because I don't have to do a lot of writing. I can just write little captions, but I'd love to do a book showing the places I've been. And I even running in Baghdad. I used to run in the Green Zone when I was in Baghdad. I used to run in Kabul down around by the Ariana Hotel. Even putting stuff like that and just like a spiritual running book. That's a picture book, but it just shows how beautiful the world is, and especially how beautiful the United States is. Because of politics, the U.S. is extremely divided, which is silly. It's ridiculous because both parties lie their asses off. It's just silly. But this country is so beautiful. I've been a lot of places, and I've never been outside into London. I've been to Heathrow and around the area, but that's not London. Even though Heathrow is its own little city, but the places I've been to, the United States to me really still has everything you want and can visit without having to go outside the United States. I mean, they still got the mountains up the Rocky Mountains. You can still go down the Grand Canyon. You can go to the desert if you want to, either in California and or down to Texas. You can go to the swamps, or even just go to the Gulf Coast. The most beautiful sunset in the world is when I was running on Naples Beach in Florida. That is the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen. And doing a book like that and saying, hey, this is still a tremendous world, still a tremendous country, the United States. Here's pictures of me running. And this was like, hey, get your ass out, get out on the road, put some miles in and just look around and see how beautiful these places are. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I have a publisher called Grand Central Publishing. They're Hachette Publishing out of New York City. And then their faith-based division is where I fall into, is out of Nashville, Tennessee. If they ask me to write another one, I will. It's therapeutic, but I do want it to be more in the lines of that and less in the lines of war and combat. And even though people need to hear that because it shows how to overcome adversity, how to overcome obstacles, especially when you're faced with, I mean, quite literally death. But everybody does it now. To me, it's like, this is getting old. Let's do something different. Let's step out of and I believe I could do something really good. And it'd be fun. For me, that's something that would be fun. If it's not going to be fun, if you're doing something that's not going to be fun, there's no reason to do it. And so we'll see. If it does, though, it'll probably be when the country reopens again, whenever that's going to be, hopefully by Christmas time. Until then, brother, I still rep a lot of gun companies here. I represent a lot of tactical companies here. Maximum Defense. I have my own gun called the Tanto's Toolbox that sells accessories and stuff. So, and I still do a lot of public speaking, but again, that's closed down too because you can't be within 6 feet of 5 people, or you might whatever. Whatever. Don't even get me started. But when that opens up a lot of public speaking and like anything else, I worked hard to become a good public speaker, starting and speaking for free to small groups. And now I speak to big corporations about leadership. And that's, as a public speaker, that's what you want to get to. You want to get to that where you're speaking for like Burger King executives, or you're speaking for Buffalo Wild Wings small franchisee executives, or you're speaking for the big equipment distributor organizations, or ConAgra, or Mutual of Omaha. That's where you want to be, and that's where I'm at. And that it's hard to do, but it is very therapeutic when you're reaching people with their story, or somebody comes up to you and says, hey. Especially when and I've had this before. So I've had former veterans that are working for companies like this that you think are successful, and they come up to me and say, hey, I was thinking, I was thinking about taking my life, and you reached it and you touched me. I'm rethinking this, or man, I was in a really bad place, and you've helped me come out of that bad place. That means a lot, because it is hard to get up there and kind of bare your soul. Even about an event over and over and over again. But if you're reaching people with it, especially if you're reaching, whether, it doesn't have to be executives. I speak for veterans too. I speak to veterans too about post-traumatic stress, because I was diagnosed with it in 2007, and I was able to continue to deploy with it for 6 more years. And, I still have it, and I'm still out there talking. It doesn't really affect my way of life. Per se. Granted, I have my bad times. I've admitted myself into the VA hospital a couple of times saying, guys, just take my phone away. I just want to sleep here for the night. Okay. Because I'm not having a good day. So I get it. But if I'm out there speaking and I can help somebody with my story, and they say, you know what, he can do it, and he's getting through it, and this is how I got through it. I can get through it, and it stops somebody from killing themselves or get somebody out of a dark place. I'm going to keep doing the public speaking. But yeah, the book, bro, I'd love to do a 4th book if it was that sort of genre, not more of the war stuff. It's good. People need to hear some of that, but I've got a couple of those out now. And there's other guys coming now that are coming back home that people need to hear their stories now. People know mine. Those guys, the young guys, or the guys that have been through their own adversity, their own duress on the battlefield. Listen to their stories now, because it's their time. My time is now just to enjoy it, do this kind of stuff, train. Battalion, I'm a Battalion tactical training company, so we go out and we teach shooting. In fact, I have a course coming up in Oklahoma, a pistol carbine course that I teach, and then just being home with my family, man. And the movie is spot on. I am an insurance adjuster. When I used to come home from deployments, I would go, and I was a flood insurance adjuster, and my certification is back up and current. In fact, I just got my flood certification to be a flood certification adjusting card in the mail yesterday. So I always said that when I retire and I want to be home, I'm going to sit and go back to what I started doing when I was going through grad school. I'm going to sit at a desk and I'm going to examine flood files for that's going to be my retirement job. And that's kind of where I'm going. It's just, I've just been able to diversify and not want to have to be in the spotlight all the time. Some guys enjoy it. I don't enjoy the spotlight. Granted, like, Tanto, you're out there with that stupid sunglass commercial. What are you talking about? You look, no, I don't. No, I really don't. I really enjoy being with family. And there comes a time where you just have to say, okay, it's good. I did it. My run's done. The next guy, go to the next guy or girl that's been, they let them run with it. Let them have it. I just want to be home with my family. And that's kind of where I'm headed. I can feel, and it's good. That's what I want to do. Your career, you want to retire like Barry Sanders. You want to retire at the top of your game. You don't want to retire like Emmitt Smith, where he was at the top and then he kept pushing it until he really banged himself up. And he still one of the greatest running backs of all time, guys. You guys that follow football, I'm a Cowboys fan. That's why it pains me to say this, but you don't want to retire like Emmitt Smith, where you're kind of in the middle of the road when you're finished. Retire at the top. And I say I'm at the top, but I'm at the top where I want to be. But I'll continue the podcasts. They're fun, and I do think people can get the right information too, because the news just slants stuff. So I know I went a roundabout circle with the book, but I'll still keep doing little things here, little things there. But most of all, I just want to be home. I just really like to be home and be with my family, because I have a 15 and 11-year-old. I came home, saw my 15-year-old for about a week when he was born. And then I was back in Iraq for like 7 months. Then I came home for 30 days. And then I went back for another 5 months. And then I went to South America, and then my daughter, she was born. And then I left and went to Kabul for 3 months, came back for like a month. Then I went back again for 3 months. And, their lives, I've been gone for damn near all of them, all their lives, all the years. I have a 4-year-old now that, I was starting to miss his life because of this, because of the travel, because of the movie. And like, God, this is an opportunity. I'm going to miss my kids growing up again. And I'm not going to do that again. So I want to be home and be a father finally. I want to coach my son's baseball team. I little league coach. I want to do stuff like that. That's stuff I look forward to now.
I don't think anyone could blame you for that, really. I mean, as you say, you've spent a large portion of your life everywhere else. To make the opportunity now it's got to be quite nice for you, really. Something I want to finish up on. Obviously, you've your career was based on a certain specific style of life, really. What did you learn during that time that the average person could sort of it would sort of help them with, maybe mentally and physically?
Yeah, that's one thing. People look at guys that are going into this community, going to the Rangers or SEALs, go into SAS, go into Delta, and if there's something superhuman or something special, no, physically, no, there's nothing. Most Rangers are about my size, 5'8", 5'9", 165 pounds. Now, granted, we can run like the wind, but that's not a physical attribute. That's just mental toughness. And I know that a lot of the MMA, you do some MMA stuff. I know you interview them. They'll tell you the same thing. It's mental toughness. 90% of it's mental. Yeah, you got to be able to handle the pain, but that's still mental. So it's nothing that people haven't heard before. It's just they forget. It's nothing that my dad didn't teach me when I was growing up. Son, you fall off that horse, get back on it and continue to ride. If you've hit adversity or hit an obstacle, just continue to move forward, no matter how slow or fast you're moving forward after you hit an obstacle or you hit a bump in the road. As long as you keep moving forward, there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Benghazi is a perfect example for that. And there's other instances that are out there, but that is, if we would have just said, shit, there ain't nobody coming, we're going to die. Because we were overmatched, way overmatched. Not one of us, and not one of the link in that chain thought that night it was, nope, We're going to kill as many of these terrorists coming at you, and we're going to get out of here. We're going to figure out a way to get out of here. Oh, well, there's nobody coming. Well, yeah, we're going to call Delta. Ah, crap, they're not coming. Oh, wait, the fast company of Marines is Sigonella. They're coming. Ah, shit, they're not coming. You know, we kept getting the bad news over and over. How many things do you going to get bad news where you're finally just like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. You can't act like that. You just got to say, okay, all right, I'll bitch about it later. Right now, though, I got to focus on this. This is adversity. How do I get through that adversity? All right, you just keep moving forward. Keep fighting. How do I get through that? All right, Delta's not coming. No worries. Let's call the Marines. Ah, they're not coming. All right, no worries. Let's call that the SIF team that's in Croatia, the 10 Special Forces. Ah, they're not coming. All right, let's figure this out. All right, let's get to the dock. Let's get a boat. Shit. All right, no, through all this time, we're still fighting, but you're still moving forward. You're still figuring out, okay, this is an obstacle. It's not going to stop me from continue on what my sole objective is, and that's to get everybody out of here and get home. And you just continue on. It's when you stop. It's just like a shark swimming. When the shark stops swimming, he dies. He drowns, right? Same thing in life. You stop moving forward, you're going to fail. If you don't take that step and you just stay stagnant, you're going to fail, right? You don't move, you can't succeed. And it's that simple, man. And that's what took place that evening, and in other incidences that I've had too. It's just, you just keep moving, and you know that you're going to make mistakes. You are. I had an incident in Iraq where I was in charge of a team, and we got hit by an IED. And actually, it wasn't even trying to hit us. It was trying to hit a military convoy that was just in the same area. It was like a target of opportunity. Well, long story short, I got my team out of there, but I so focused on the mission of getting that team out of there, which is good. I got them out safe. We're good. We fought our way out. We're good to go. Well, I didn't know that military team, I didn't even think about that. Well, they probably could use some help. Why don't I cut my team away and go give them some support? And this was early on in my career. This is where I'm focused, blind. Well, I had a Little Bird helicopter that turned around a little weird. I was with Blackwater at the time. We had a little bird that went back to that where the attack was going on, and he rescued one of the turret gunners in the military convoy that had been blown up. Now, I didn't know it at the time. I'm so focused on my job that I get him out of there. Well, when he came back, his name was Dan, and actually I wrote about it. There's a short story about Dan in the Patriots Creed. I wrote about him and how I learned from him. To me, that was an obstacle where I thought and this is the thing about learning from obstacles to learning from moving forward is what I'm trying to get at. I moved forward. I did the right thing, but I didn't think outside the box. I thought about what was going on with myself and my team, getting my 50 guys home. And we had an ambassador at the time, a high-level ambassador, getting him home safe when the attack was to us. Instead of going, okay, we're good here, outside the box. Who needs help now? Let's go back to the military guys. Well, Dan knew. Dan had been doing longer than I had. Dan had been with the Rangers. He'd been a task force pilot, a Special Operations Aviation Regiment. He did the right thing. He continued on with the mission. He made sure we got home. Then he zoomed on back to help, and he did. And he rescued the military guy that had a severe head injury. I remember sitting with him, and when he got back, I'm like, "Where'd you go?" Because I saw him pull off. I was in my vehicle, and I see the little bird come, and he just. So I didn't know where he went. When he got back, I sat down with him because it was my detail. I said, "Where'd you go, dude?" He goes, "Well, I went back to help the military. We were good. I went back to." And, there was a little bit of a discussion there, but he goes, "Why didn't you turn a team around to come help?" And I felt like the biggest asshole. It's like, he's right. Why didn't I? And because of that, a little Iraqi girl died. She bled out because he couldn't put her in the helicopter. And he told me about it. He's like, yeah, there was a little girl that was playing with her sister. And he says what happened, because I asked him what happened. There's a little bit more, I could go in the story a little bit more in detail of what happened. But he says, I flew down there. I saw the military guy. I parked. I put him in. We had too much weight because that Little Bird's one of those small little bubble helicopters, like Magnum PI helicopters, a little MH6. And the father walked out with the daughter, and she's bleeding out, and she's guts is bleeding everywhere. And he was begging me to take her, and he says I couldn't. I could tell it bothered him, and of course it bothered me, and I was even there, and he's seeing it. And he says I couldn't, and I had to fly out of there. And I was like, man, I could have put her in one of my Humvees. We could have got her back. And it really stuck with me. It really did. So what I'm talking to people about is you keep moving forward. You're going to make decisions. Make a decision. I'd made a decision that night. That night, reflected back to Benghazi. So when I was faced with that similar decision of, hey, are we going to stay at the annex and protect our people? Or are we going to get out there and go try to help somebody, even though it might cost for lives? That was a no-brainer. You know, that's where it's like, stand down my ass. No, we're going. Because I was thinking about the Iraqi girl. I was thinking about the decision. And then also the decision that we made when we left the consulate. You know, we could have stayed at the consulate and tried to continue to find the ambassador, but, you know, our place would have got overrun. Our annex would have got overrun. So we had to make a decision to leave. And it sucks because we did. We left the ambassador there. Even though we couldn't find him, we didn't know. We thought he'd been taken, but because the fire was so big in his security room, we couldn't get back in there. But when the fire died down, the locals found him in there. It's hard because you know, you leave no fallen comrade. Well, we did. But the thing is, though, is if we wouldn't have left, we wouldn't have made that decision. They keep moving forward. Got that obstacle. Got to move forward. What do we do? Are we staying here? I'm thinking to myself, gosh, we got to get back to the annex, make a decision instead of just locking up and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. No, make a decision. We get back. And of course, we defend our compound successfully until the mortars hit us at 5 a.m. But what I'm saying is that you do keep moving forward. You do keep pushing through those obstacles. You're going to make a decision that is going to haunt you, or you're going to make a decision. Let's put it this way. Don't feel bad about making the decision. The stuff I made, yes, I could have done better. What would have haunted me more is if I would have made no decision. If I would have just locked up and said, no, I'm not doing anything. That's the worst thing you can do. That's what our chief, Bob, did. If he would have made a decision and not just locked up, I still believe the ambassador and Sean Smith would have been alive. We may not have agreed with the decision, but he just didn't do anything. Same with our team leader. We're just going to let it ride out. Don't ever let things just ride out. No, make a decision. You're going to have to live with the decision. I'm living with the ambassador and that little girl. I remember them every day. Those deaths, I remember. Sean Smith's death. Every day I wake up, I remember. But I also think back, okay, I did make a decision. I don't have to worry about this. I made under duress. I at least was thinking, my mind was going, and I've learned from those decisions. So if I'm ever faced with a similar situation, God forbid, I have a third trifecta where I'm faced with something like that again. If I am, I'll be able to even make a better decision overcoming that adversity, overcoming that obstacle because of my experiences so far. You always are going to have to live with the decisions you make. But again, I'm saying the third time, this is Rangers. We always say things 3 times. We reiterate. The worst thing you can do is make no decision. That will haunt you worse than any decision you ever make. And that's what I try to tell people. And that's what I try to tell when I do talks to corporations. You're in charge. You're getting paid the big bucks. Don't sit on your hands and say, he'll handle it. Or he'll handle it. No, you're in charge. You make the decision. Just know that decision is going to stay with you. And they're not always going to be right. But it's still better than sitting around and being, okay, I'm going to sit on my hands and because I don't want to make a mistake and I'm going to let somebody else make the decision for me. That's when you're fucked up. And I don't say fucked up during the corporate meetings, but that's when you're fucked up. Yeah. But that's the biggest thing I can tell people that are going through adversity. You just got to keep moving. I've been there, guys. I did a video for a rock group called All That Remains. They put me in their music video, and it's about a veteran that was thinking about committing suicide. If you watch that music video, I was going through a real bad time, and I was divorced from my wife at the time, and no, it was very, very serious. That video is pretty damn accurate. Picking up a gun, I was going to put it in my head. It was in the video, but we're entertainment imitates real life. That was spot on. But you know, that's the thing is even at that point in time when I was at the lowest low, people thought I should be having a great time because I'm out in the public eye. I still was okay. Get up every day, get out of bed. I don't want to get up, you know, immense depression. But every day I forced myself to get out of bed. Every day I forced myself to go for a run. And that's how I continue to keep my mental state going. And that's where I can apply combat. Like, I'm not in combat. I've never done combat. I'm not going to see it. It still can apply in real life. You're having a bad day. You're divorced. You're not able to see your kids. You're just making bad decisions. You're in toxic relationships. The worst thing you do is just to make no decision and stay in bed all day. No, get up. And it was like a struggle. Okay, get out of bed. All right, that's moving forward. It's as simple as that. You know, you're fighters. You go in a big fight and you have a loss. You lose it. So what? Majority of those guys don't quit. They're just getting back in the gym and they're hammering it and they're going to get better. Well, that's the attitude you have to have in life every day. I'm just going to hammer it. I'm going to get better no matter what happens. And I'm not going to stop moving forward. And eventually there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Things always improve. I can't tell you how long it's going to be. Nobody knows for that, except the man upstairs. He knows. But as long as you keep moving forward, you're going to get closer to that tunnel and that ending, that opening of that tunnel, and you're going to succeed, and you're going to have a lot of experience and learned a lot from it. So the next time you're faced with any sort of adversity, you're going to be able to handle it better. So does that make sense? I know I went for 5 minutes.
Totally.
Sorry about that, my man. That's just me. I ramble. Can you tell I'm a public speaker? I can't shut up, dude.
No, it's all good. I mean, it's all some really good information for people to take on board. I mean, you can't force people to take that information, but the more you can give, I mean, someone's going to be able to take something from it, surely. Well, look, Tanto, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day for this.
Of course, man.
It really is appreciated. And I wish you all the best going forward. Enjoy your time with your family. Well-deserved time with your family. And hope to talk to you again sometime in the future.
Yeah, just hit me up on Skype, man. You know what to do. And we'll get it figured out. And I know our time difference is way up. So are you morning or night? What time is it there right now?
It's 15:30 p.m.
Oh,
10:30. Sorry.
Oh, so you got time to? Are all the pubs closed and everything, or like are you guys on quarantine? Don't worry. I'm sure you got one in the beer, man. One in the fridge. Go grab a Guinness and get one down, man.
I can't fault that.
God bless you, brother. Yeah, I'll hit you up again. I love the show. And send me the link when you're when you got it, because I'll repost it on all my stuff if that's okay with you.
Yeah, completely. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, the more people of viewers that sees it, I mean, that's what it's all about for me. It's people are tuning in for you at the end of the day. I just want to put you out there. That's the way it is, really.
I appreciate it, brother, man. I definitely I love it, man. Good job, and thanks for letting me ramble. I appreciate that, bro.
Much appreciated, mate. Thank you.
Have a good night, man. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Ciao, mate.